told Chris.
I think well, listen, Mark, listen, hold on. When I say, would you have caffeine today?
What the hell was that up to?
How much coffee did you drink before the show?
Listen, you can't polish a sneaker, right? throw tomatoes at me, do whatever you're going to do.
It's CORSO and CATONE.
Welcome into CORSO and CATONE, the real deal New England feel. Chris Corso alongside Mark CATONE and Joe Guarnieri, and we are presented by the Pats Nation, the only Patriots post-game show worth watching. Listen, you can see us on YouTube, so make sure you get on YouTube, put in CORSO and CATONE, and all of our shows will pop up, including this one. And make sure you subscribe, give us that thumbs up. But if you can only listen to us, you can do that too. You can do that on the iTunes Radio, the iHeart Radio app, Podbean, and for you Alexa listeners, you can just go ahead and say, Alexa, play CORSO and CATONE podcast on iHeart, and all of our shows will pop up. And listen, check us out on Twitter at CORSO_CATONE. Mark has some funny anecdotes up, along with our schedule of when you can see the broadcast and our heated hotline, 855-313-PAT. You know the drill. Leave a message 24/7. Anything you want to get off your chest, Joe will sift through, pick the one he likes for Mark and I to discuss, and that one could be yours. So 855-313-7287. A lot to get to today, We're going to have our heated hotline and everyone in the Pats Nation Patriots pregame show as the Patriots kick off in 8:15 Eastern, roughly, right, Mark? And
roughly, yeah.
yeah, as they travel to Buffalo for, what do they call them, the Super Wild Card Weekend?
Super Wild Card Weekend, yeah. Something like that.
That playoff game is going to kick off at 8:15. And, of course, we'll have our 2-minute warning where we'll give our game prediction of this game and the other games that are going on around the league. So, hi, boys. How we feeling today?
Good.
Hey.
It's playoff time. We're back in it. I'm good.
Don't you think Mark should be just a little more excited, Joe? Just a little bit more.
Well,
listen, this time last year, Chris, did you honestly think we'd be back this quickly? We were a train wreck last year,
I
right?
always knew it.
Oh, you're so full of it.
I always knew it, Oh, listen, Mark will get nice and excited. Probably, I'm sure when we get to the pregame show. So, listen, let's get right into it then. Heated hotline, Joe, you ready to go?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Built on Salt Beach. Love you guys. Love the show. I listen every week, especially down here in Florida when nobody's like us. Nobody. I was at the game last week and I can't stand how the Patriots are playing right now. It's absurd. Now this firing of Flores, I don't understand. I don't understand how the coaching tree doesn't work in New England, but Belichick guys just can't make it. And why are they such jerks? Now the story comes out that he told Tua that he would only take Matt Jones, didn't want Tua. Why would you tell a player that? He's the guy that took him. So I want to know, would you bring a guy like that back for your coordinator, or is this just how it's going to be? Because I think their coaching staff sucks, and that's the problem.
Okay. So, Mark, Joe, is that Phil? Did I hear that right? Phil?
Bill. That would be
Bill.
Bill
from Florida.
Bill. Well, listen,
South Beach Bill.
Bill. Okay. So, Bill, listen, we appreciate the heated hotline message. Mark, listen, he brings up, I mean, this was a big story this week. I mean, you had Black Monday where you had all the firings of the head coaches, and I think the biggest surprise was Flores.
Oh, absolutely, it was the biggest surprise.
Why did Miami do that?
Well, I think the caller hits it right on the head, Chris, that there seemed to be some sort of issue with Flores not wanting to move forward with Tua because he doesn't think he's the quarterback. And I think the ownership and general manager think Tua's the guy, and they want to keep him in that position. And I think they came to a head, and obviously Flores lost. They got rid of him. And the comment that he brings up about telling him I should have taken Mac Jones, I don't think he meant Jones. I think it was, I know Mike Lombardi reported that, but I think he misquoted. I think it was Hebert that he wanted, the kid from the Chargers, I think, is what he said. I should have taken Hebert over
because he went one pick after.
He
They
won
picked
one pick
Tua at
after.
3,
And
and I think
obviously,
he
if you
went at
look at the
4.
two of them, Chris, oh my
Yeah,
God, there's no
well.
comparison in the two quarterbacks.
Flores is right.
Yeah, Flores is right.
But do you say that to a guy?
Well, you don't say that to a guy. Absolutely not.
Yeah, you're gonna say, "Hey, listen, I made a mistake and I picked you, but get out there and
Listen,
get out
I'm
there and do
sure.
your best today."
I'm sure Belichick's not telling Mac Jones, I should have kept Brady. But
Yeah,
go
I
out
mean,
there.
we can say like, what did he do it like pregame? Were they on the field warming up, saying, "Hey, it's the biggest game of your life"? I really should have taken Ebert there, and
Yeah.
But he's right, Mark. He should have taken him over Tua, but you know what? It's his pick.
It's his pick. So now, you got to figure it out. And supposedly Flores was all in on trying to trade for Deshaun Watson. So I think, and I think that one example of what he told Tua, Chris, from what I've been hearing, he was kind of a hot ass. And I think he lost some of that locker room.
This is the this makes you think about, and the caller brings this up too, about the coaching tree. You see guys like Bill Walsh, like he said, and different guy Holmgren and all some of these other guys, Parcells and so on, in history where the coaches are pretty damn good coming out of that tree, and for some reason, these guys that come out of the Belichick tree, they just don't, other than Saban, and that's college, But I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, nobody really is successful. I mean, O'Brien was a little bit.
Yeah,
And you could argue, you could say Flores was. He was successful too. I mean, he's got a good record. He beat the Patriots, like 4 times?
Yeah.
So why though is this, Mark, with these coaches that come from Belichick? Why isn't this work?
I think Chris, Belichick has a persona about him that these assistant coaches see, but I don't necessarily know if they really know what happens behind closed doors when Belichick's having those one-on-one meetings or private conversations with players, where obviously if Belichick was doing what Flores and Patricia did down in Detroit, he wouldn't have lasted 20 years with the Patriots, right? So I think they're missing that piece. Yeah, sure, Belichick is probably real critical in the film room, right? He's critical during practice, but I think there's also that, hey, when he's one-on-one with these guys and having a different type of a session with them, I don't think that's the interaction, Chris, because he wouldn't have lasted this long. And it's also reminiscent to me. We heard this about Belichick when he was in Cleveland. Yeah, Cleveland ran him out of there, and I think he might have learned his lesson when he came here. Okay, I can't do that, but it seems his assistants haven't learned that, Chris.
Well, that goes to the next question I was going to ask, which is the micromanaging parts, because I think that the issue in Cleveland was that Belichick, he had his thumb on every little thing that went on, and he didn't understand how to delegate. You remember those guys there? They had the slappies, they called them.
Yep.
Where the guy, what's his name, that went to Detroit was a coach there. You had Pioli, you had Dimitrov, Saban. A lot of these guys.
We're in Cleveland with them. Yeah,
we're in Cleveland, and the coach that went to the Jets that blew the lid on the Spygate.
Oh yeah.
Mangini.
Was he in Cleveland too, though? With
he was
him
in Cleveland too. Yeah, there was a whole list of guys that were just and then that coach. Remember the guy coach that went to Detroit? I can't never remember his name, but he was there. So he was micromanaged there. Do you think that one of the reasons these guys can't make it is because how Brady would cover up for the deficiencies, on the field? Do you think Belichick covered up for those deficiencies in the coaching staff? These guys just weren't as good as
Chris,
people may think.
Chris, positively.
So,
right? Positively, he does.
Well,
Chris, when the defense is playing bad, we see that. You see it on TV. Who's huddling them up with the clipboard? It's Belichick. It's not the defensive coordinator.
Right. It really wasn't Cornell when he was there for those years, and so. Okay, so when you look at a guy like Flores, because Belichick's gut, he has a track record of bringing guys back. I mean,
Chris, you know what Belichick is? He reminds me of that old saying, like I've read stuff on leadership just because of what I do in my profession. So he doesn't delegate leadership, Chris.
Talking about the driving school? when you teach
Yeah,
them.
no, not the driving school. So he doesn't distribute leadership, or I give you, hey, you're in charge of defense, lead it, do it.
The
We'll have
delegation.
check-ins, right? He just delegates it, but it's really him who's leading it. He just delegates it. Hey, here's what you're doing: A, B, C, and D. Make sure these things happen. But he's not really distributing that leadership to you, so you're the leader of that piece. I still think Belichick, Chris, has his hand and oversees everything, right? So once these guys get out on their own, I think that's why they struggle.
Because they're really not ready.
No, they're really
That's why.
not ready. They
They're
appear
really,
to
really
be
not.
ready. But even McDaniels, when he went to Denver, Chris, that was a train wreck.
Yeah. Because
You
they're
know?
getting credit for things that they don't. And if they are successful, it's a program that's willing to stick with them for a long time, like Alabama and Saban.
Yeah.
You know, Saban
And I'm
was
going
in
to be honest
Cleveland
with you,
with him
Chris.
too.
I
He was one of those
honestly
guys.
think if Miami stuck with Flores, I think he would have been successful.
And
He
it's a head
seemed to be
scratcher.
building something there, but
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah, that was a head scratcher to me. Who? Okay, so for who then? Who are you going to get? Who are you
I
going to
don't
get
know.
that's better? You're going to get some 30-year-old coordinator in college somewhere that's like who's better out there?
Yeah.
Mayo. So I mean,
Listen, Mayo is definitely not ready, Chris. That would be an absolute joke if they went and hired Mayo. But supposedly Mayo, Chris, is one of the leading candidates in Houston.
I think it's the familiarity with that, Casario and what's the Easterby.
I get it, but Chris,
those
come on.
guys there.
I mean, Mayo.
They'll give it's a better spot for Mayo because they'll give him the longest leash.
Yeah, they will.
Don't you think?
Yeah, probably. They will. They'll
because
give him the
they're New
longest
England
leash.
guys and all that. But no, I don't think Mayo's ready at all.
So, Chris, he also makes the comment that our coaches suck in general now.
It's what you
So-
said last week in our post.
Well, we talked about that last week. We both did, right?
Right. Yeah, in our post game. I mean, you were all over the coaches and Mark, I don't know how you can say anything else. I mean, you got an inside linebacker coach that's being considered for head coaching jobs in the league, and the inside linebackers are the weakest part of this team.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not sure. I don't know what his son does over there.
I don't know what the Sun does. Well, you notice, Chris, it's very funny. The Sun's not being mentioned for any jobs.
Well, I mean, why would he? I mean, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
They're so thin. They are so spread so thin at the coaching. Other than McDaniel, who that's a bona fide, legitimate coordinator.
Yep.
And I think he's got a lot of the reins as far as what they're doing on offense. But otherwise, I look down that line and the special teams coach. Oh my God! I mean that kid is
Chris,
just drowning over there.
We talked a little bit about him last week and his credentials, and I don't know, Chris, how he survives. He has to be one of the first casualties of the offseason when you do your restructuring of coaching. He's got to go.
They were terrible.
No way he can stay.
They were terrible, and I can't
Bring
imagine.
back Joe Judge. I don't care.
I was just about to.
I mean, they were good. He was a good special teams coach. I mean, so what? He's never going to coach in the NFL again. That's for sure as a head coach. So you might as well bring him back as a special teams coach.
So that's what. So the caller brings that up too about Flores coming back. So tell Belichick has a track record of doing it.
Flores, Chris, I think is a commodity. If he don't get a job this year, I think he will next year. So does Flores go back to being a defensive coordinator, or does he just sit and wait for a job until next cycle? Maybe it's not this cycle, maybe it's the following year. Or do you come back and be a defensive coordinator and try to keep yourself relevant? I don't know. I don't know. Does that help his reputation, or does it hurt it crawling back to Belichick?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's going to interview for these jobs that are out there, but I tell you,
I mean, in Patricia's case, Chris, he came back because nobody's ever going to hire him again.
And they stuck him up in the boot somewhere.
Yeah.
But the thing with Flores is, I mean, if nobody else hires him, why wouldn't you come back to New England? I mean, listen, that defense, we were happy with him as a coordinator. When Patricia left and Flores took over that, of course, he never got the title. I don't know what it is with Belichick. He doesn't want to give anybody the title.
But he gave it to Patricia
this year.
No, Patricia was back then. He was.
Yeah, but it took a while.
Was Flores actually named defensive coordinator?
I don't know if he ever was. I mean, I know Patricia was, but that was after Cornell left, and that was like it took some years for him to get that.
I know Flores was in charge of the defensive play calling, but I don't know if he officially gave him the title.
Well, all I know is he was the de facto DC over there, and and you and I, when Patricia left and Flores kind of kicked up because he was there already, man, that defense flew around the ball. They were aggressive, and I believe he was calling the plays on defense because remember how aggressive that defense was? We loved it. Yeah. That bend, don't break crap went away.
Went out the door,
completely gone. And then we were getting after teams. Oh, it was awesome. That was when those are the years we were playing against Kansas City over there. And just giving Mahomes fits, with pressure in his face and that zero look. So if he's available.
And last week, Chris, he did some of that against us last week. He brought pressure to Jones in different ways, right?
Yep.
And I think he definitely confused him. But yeah, I mean, if he's there, and I would definitely, reach out to him and say, hey, but if Mayo leaves, I would definitely reach back out to Flores and say, hey, come back, coach linebackers, call the defensive plays for us. Because you're gonna have an opening on the staff, right?
We get openings all over the damn, coaching staff. But okay, so because I can't imagine he's up for the Houston job too. Listen, if you're Flores though, you gotta want. I mean, he's obviously wants to be a head coach, but if you're one of these teams out there that's looking for a coach, man, he would be at the top of my list. And I mean, look. You had a good quarterback draft or a big-time quarterback draft last year with Mac Jones and Fields and Lance and these guys and Wilson. And
the quarterback class this year is nowhere near as good coming out.
No. So you got two of those spots open. You have three places where right now, currently, I understand Watson wants out, but currently it's a real good quarterback situation. Lawrence in Jacksonville, Fields in Chicago, and for the moment, Deshaun Watson in Houston. And maybe Houston's thought is, hey, if we bring Flores in, I mean, they were going to trade for him when he was in Miami. So maybe if we bring Flores in, he can keep Watson here.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But that could be. You know what? The ownership in Houston is horrific.
Yeah, it's a dumpster fire. It really is. But I tell you what, I think he's going to end up in Chicago.
Flores is a perfect fit in Chicago, Chris.
I do too, because he's that hard ass, like you said. He's a hard ass son of a bitch. Where he tries to be Belichick, and he's just that hard ass kind of guy.
He fits that Mike Ditka mold.
That fits perfect. Chicago people love that crap.
Yeah.
I know a few guys from Chicago. They'd be like, yeah, yell at them, punch them, hit them, tell them you shouldn't have drafted them. All that Parcells crap. So. We'll see what happens.
Remember Parcells with Terry Glenn? She's doing okay. He said,
"Oh my God, yeah, a lot of." If that were
today,
how long ago was that? That had to be what? That was like 90.
Shit, that was
Say it was 96.
What year did we go to the Super Bowl against Green Bay? Was 96. It that year? It was 96. I think he said it.
So that's like
or 95, whatever year it was.
That's like 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow, Mark, are we old?
Yeah, but you could never say those things today. That's crazy.
That was like that caller. That was like that caller last week that called in and talked about when she was growing up with the Celtics.
Yeah, she was growing up with the
Celtics.
Garnett and Pierce. Yeah.
Oh my God, Mark, you got to just keep coloring it. Just keep coloring it.
Yeah, I spray it, kid. I spray it. They got that shoe polish. You spray it.
Or you could do what Joe does.
Just shave it.
Just shave it off, right, Joe?
Hey, God only gave a few people. Beautiful heads. The rest he gave hair. You know that one. Come on.
Joe gets mad at the people that choose to. They're like Costanza. Pisses Costanza off when people choose to shave their head. The
worst. When people have a nice, beautiful, full head of hair and they just don't take care of it or don't like nothing. I'm like, you don't deserve that head of hair. You.
Yeah. Most people shaving their head because, it's.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'm getting close, But Joe, that aggravates Joe, right? So, well, listen, we'll see what happens with Flores. I would take him back as DC. Phil, I echo you. I understand what you're saying. The coaching staff does kind of suck right now, and it's a huge problem. And Mark illustrated with the special teams last week. And so let's see what happens with that in this coaching carousel. But Heated Hotline was presented by CORSO Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. CORSOLawGroup.com. Allow us to be your voice. Okay, on the other side, everyone in the Pats Nation, Patriots pregame. That's next.
This that time again for a timeout for a message from one of our sponsors. No one ever thinks they will be in the need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. CORSO Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Their 20-plus years experience and attention to detail has helped thousands of people all across this great country who found themselves in a situation in Arizona. So whether it's a traffic ticket or if you need reduced DUI or more serious issues, call or go online to CORSOLawGroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys who I know will help you. CORSO Law Group.
Round 3, Mark. Ding, 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 ding. Round 3.
Go.
New England Patriots go into the Buffalo Bills tonight, 8:15 Eastern kickoff. My God, Mark, it's playoff time. It's the wild card weekend. Okay, let's get into it. Mark, first of all, it's right now, currently, it's probably, I think it's like 9 degrees there.
Yeah, it's going to be cold. That's for damn sure. It's going to be cold.
Degrees. So, Mark, the Patriots win this game if they what?
Sack Allen 3 times or more.
Okay.
If they win this game at the end of the night, you're going to see they had 3 sacks or more, Chris. Because they're going to have to get pressure on them. They're going to have to put them on the cold ground. It's going to be like cement. It's going to be rock hard, and they're going to bang them. They're going to bang them and bang them. You're not going to beat this team if you don't get them off the spot and bang them. That's my prediction, Chris. If we win this game at the end of the game, you're going to say, holy shit, Mark, you're right. We got 3 sacks or more.
Who does it have to come from? So let's get into the defensive side of the ball then, since you're saying this. Who does that kind of pressure?
I think Judon,
who needs to have a good game?
Chris, I think Judon has to go back to his midseason form. Judon has to really pressure him from the outside. But not only pressure him, Chris, I think Judon's going to get at least 2 sacks, Chris, tonight. He's going to get that energy, because when Judon gets that energy, it seems like it lifts up the rest of the defense. But not only does he got to do that, Chris, he can't run by the goddamn quarterback like he's been doing for the last 5 games, Chris. If you're going to bring that pressure, you got to stick it. You can't fly by him so he goes out the back door and runs for 30 yards.
Everybody got on Jawan Williams and damn, Mark, who I keep remembering. Was it Collins? Who was chasing across the field on that 3rd and 8 when Tua ran for that first down to ice that game? Was it Collins or was it
either
Bentley?
Collins or Van? No, I don't think it was Bentley.
Okay, so either
sure.
way, it was a linebacker. Now they caught a lot of crap. Jawan Williams caught a lot of crap for that. So did the linebacker. Mark, they were in man coverage, okay, and their backs are turned. Tua recognized it. The guy that should get the most crap for that play last week was Judon. I mean, that's what Mark's talking about. Judon got up the field, past the quarterback, which is your first cardinal rule when you're pass rushing from the edge. Don't go too far upfield. Don't get past the quarterback because he can just come underneath you. If he does that this week, if he pulls that crap this week or Van Noy does it on the other side, this kid will rush for 150 yards. Allen, I'm talking about. I mean, take it all day. But that, presumes that they're going to be in man coverage.
Well, Chris, I think they're going to have to mix it up, though. Listen, because when we played them up here, Chris, did we ever get out of zone? He just picked us apart. We played the same defense the entire game, pretty much.
No, he did. He was in zone a few times. I was in man a few times, and it was ugly. Those were the times that Allen got out.
No. I know that, Chris, but I still think you have to mix it up. If you just sit in the same coverage all night, you can't. They're gonna have to mix it up. They're gonna have to do some zero look, Chris. They haven't really. I don't think they really have mixed it up enough against Buffalo this year. I think you got to give this guy something different to look at, Chris, and because I think you can confuse him. Listen. He'll give you something if you force him to. Okay, yeah, he's good. He gets things. He does things for his team, but he'll give you something too if you can get him pressure on him, Chris, and get him thinking and you know what I mean? He'll give you something.
Well, yeah, I mean, he threw 36 touchdowns, 4,400 yards passing, which is great, but he also threw 15 interceptions. With a guy in his level, supposedly AFC Championship game last year, you shouldn't be throwing 15 picks. Yeah. In a season, right?
Yeah.
So you're right.
But the point is, Chris, they got to figure out how to, they're going to get the pressure on him.
So here's the thing,
And
okay?
Chris, we may be in trouble in the secondary. They said Mills might be out today with the COVID issue.
Well, I haven't seen him reactivated. I mean, I think, I've been checking, I've been looking. I know Joe has.
And Chris, they activated D'Angelo Ross, which tells me Mills isn't playing because he's on the COVID list.
Right. So that's a huge problem, Mark. Is any of those thoughts about mixing it up? Well, people don't understand a lot too. When
But your buddy Miles Bryant out again tonight.
Well, he's going to be there. Jawan Williams is going to be there.
Oh.
I mean, it just keeps getting worse.
Jawan Williams, Chris, doesn't belong on a football field.
I mean,
that right now. He's awful.
I mean, I know he got hung out to dry a little bit on that play last week, but he's not. He can't. But then he got his own player hurt.
You know what pissed me off about him? Okay, so you're right. That play, Chris, you're 100%, 1,000% right. That's on Judon because he didn't seal that. However, on that play, Chris, if you're watching, he doesn't even set himself up to make the tackle, Chris. He took a horrific angle on Tua. He should have been able to hit Tua before the first down marker. He doesn't.
And
like you said, then he hits his own player and inches him.
Oh man, the angle he took to get to him. I mean, first of all, you want they call it breakdown. I call it widening the stance, as you come to a tackle. But the problem that he had was he came on such a bad angle and broke down so far in advance of Allen being on him. Then now Allen shifted a little bit and now he's off to the side. And now he goes try to make that tackle off to the side. His legs whip around
and Tua
into Barmore's knees.
Yeah.
And he got his player hurt doing that. Yeah, Tua just goes right by him. Mark, he should have never been making that play. He should have never been the guy that was turned having to make that play. This is why I'm saying, you talked to me about, and yesterday you did, about the scheme. Belichick, he can't possibly allow to have happen what happened before, right? No. But the problem is the horses.
Well,
there are instinctual things that need to be happening on that field. Whoever that linebacker was that's why I wanted to remember. If it was Van Noy,
I don't remember who it was, Chris.
So on that play, he was dragging across the field. It was a good design. They took the running back from the left side. They took him out of the backfield and dragged him across the field, and the linebacker went with him, right? So in man coverage. Well, in that situation, the other corner on the other side, Jackson or whoever it was there, passed off Gilsecki, and now he's sitting there. And so you got two corners on one side, Jawan Williams and the other corner. I think it was Mills. And so the linebacker needs to see, okay, I got a cornerback sitting there. Let the guy go. Turn yourself, and then you come for Tua. See, these are the kind of things, Mark, that's not happening on this field right now.
No, it's not. And Chris, how do you change that? So it's not a scheme issue. So if it's not
some of it was. This game last time was, but yes, go ahead.
But if it's not a scheme issue, Chris, then what do they do? I mean, if you don't got the horses that can recognize and intuitively know what you're supposed to do on a play, because you're supposed to be a professional.
Yeah.
I mean, we might be in for a long night.
Yeah, it's a bat. Don't, Joe. Now I'm going to break my New Year's resolution. Are you kidding? We may be in for a long night, he says. You've been screaming for Buffalo. I want Buffalo. I want to go to Buffalo. And now all of a sudden, we may be in for a long night.
Joe, can I ask you a question, Joe? Did I say we were losing? I said we could. The word there was could. See, you don't listen, Joe. He's got COVID brain. The only kid I know, the kid hasn't left his house in 6 months, and he got COVID twice.
That's why my voice sounds like this. I never leave. I don't talk to people. I don't go anywhere. I got it twice in 6 months. Whatever. Okay.
So that's the key word there. Could. I didn't say they were. I said could.
Listen, the scheme has got to be better. When I went back and looked at this Buffalo game in Foxborough, Mark, and I looked at the defense, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I couldn't believe what I was looking at. Now, the whole mixing up of man and zone, people don't really understand what coverage is. They don't get it. There are coverages where you're playing half and half sometimes, where you got some guys that are playing man concepts, but with a zone look, and then you got the other that safeties may be in zone. I mean, there's a lot of little things. So to just say, well, you're playing man, coach, that's why they get irritated. Because like they're talking to reporters who have no, like you said about Maz last week,
No clue what they're
idea what they're looking at. So these coaches are like, why am I talking to you right now? You know what I mean? But the point is, the scheme, what I saw in that field was bland, and I think Belichick's so worried about two things. Well, tonight he's going to be worried he doesn't have Mills, so you can't play too much man because of man concepts because I don't have the horses to do it. And I'm concerned that, so therefore, I can't devote 5 guys pressure. I can't devote more than 4 to coming after the quarterback. So it's kind of a vicious cycle. I got to get pressure to help the secondary, but I can't get pressure if the secondary doesn't help them. Yeah. And that's the problem. That's the problem with the personnel. That's the personnel issues that's causing that problem. But when I saw the scheme and I saw what they were doing and what they weren't doing, McKenzie killed us last week.
And what was he, Chris? A fourth receiver, fifth receiver?
Yeah, now he's got speed. I get it, and they just dragged him across the field like those routes he runs, those crossers across the field, and he just ran away from Miles Bryant. But it's a tough ask for any corner to run with that guy across the field when there's no pass rush. And what pisses me off, what I didn't understand, this has to be different tonight. You got Duggar sitting over there, right? And different linebackers within the 5-yard. I mean, McKenzie was running within that 5-yard area where you can hit him still. Nobody touched him. If you're a safety, if you're a linebacker, and you got a crosser coming towards you, you got to give him a shot. You got to bump him. You got to wall him off a little, adjust his route so that Bryant can catch up. Does that make sense?
No, it absolutely makes sense. And Chris, I don't think Phillips has been since he hurt that knee, and I mean he's on the injury report every week, and he definitely tweaked something that play at the end of the game against Buffalo. Remember in Buffalo, he hasn't been as physical, Chris, because they used to drop him in the box, almost like a hybrid linebacker, and they haven't done that since that game, Chris. So something tells me he's not really 100% either, because Phillips would be the guy that would get physical.
Yeah,
with guys cutting across. It wouldn't necessarily be Duggar. It would have been Phillips. And we haven't seen Phillips doing that.
Yeah. Well, they're going to probably have to do that tonight because you've got to – those inside linebackers are – listen, the last game, Allen accounted for 380 yards total offense he accounted for out of their 420. So it starts and stops with what Allen's going to do, no?
Oh, absolutely, Chris. And then I'm listening to – this is what really drives me crazy too. And that's why – the CORSO and CATONE, Pats Nation is the real deal pregame show, because I'm listening to all these dumb analysts say, oh, Buffalo's been running the ball the last 4 weeks. Oh, they're running. Look at their average. This, that. What running the ball? The kid Singletary, okay, yeah, he's not bad. He's gotten a little better. But that's Allen. Allen's rushing 20, 25 yards a pop every time he runs out of the pocket. So, yeah, at the end of the game, their running average looks like it's, they're running almost six yards a carry. No, really? No kidding. Because Allen's running for 20 yards a pop. Like really? Why don't you understand and watch the film and understand how Buffalo's getting those yards? So, to your point, Chris, Allen, you're going to have to account for him because he's going to run the ball tonight, especially if it's 2 degrees, 3 degrees below zero. He's going to run the ball, Chris, if your inside linebackers stink.
Well, talk about that, Mark. Talk about the situation, because that's one position that's gone south quickly.
Well, Chris, Hightower's supposedly playing today, but he's banged up, right? He didn't play last week.
He wasn't good all season.
Right? You got Bentley, who's been on the injury report numerous times this year. You got Collins has an ankle, and Van Noy looks old. So take your pick. What are you going to do? It's like the old race caller from Rockingham. We got 4 across the lane. Take your pick. Maybe you'll get lucky. We don't got no luck, Chris. You got 4 steps out there.
We got to add that. We got to add one of those segments in.
Joe, I hope you captured that little blurb there just now, But
I got it.
Mark, you're right. You're right. They're so inept, and that's why you're going to have to bring up those You're going to have to bring those safeties down in the box for no other reason. And you would think, well, if they can't run the ball, if Singletary sucks, well, what the hell are they bringing safeties up in the box? Why? Because if they don't seal him in, and he steps up into that center of the field, which is,
Chris,
by the way, which was where Singletary killed you.
Chris, let me ask you this. Do you try to deploy some of the principles that you do when you play like a Lamar Jackson? or even a Mahomes, because you do got to kind of account for Mahomes running out of there too. Like some of the principles that they account for when they play those types of quarterbacks. Do you have to deploy those tonight against this kid?
You can try to disguise some of this stuff. You're not going to devote a spy. That's an outdated concept anyway. Having one guy following you.
No, not one guy, but there's usually somebody, Chris, that's kind of keeping an eye on. Okay, what formation are they in? What, like in other words, once there's certain things that they do that Allen can go out the back door with, and I don't necessarily know if we've recognized that at all.
Well, I think he'll try to have them prepare for the design runs. Because you're going to see a lot more design quarterback runs. You're going to see it.
You think you'll see that tonight, Chris?
Absolutely. Because again, the inside linebackers stink. And by the way, most teams check downs to the receivers when the quarterback's reading, and then is usually on the outside somewhere. For this team, it's going to be directly in the center of the field.
Okay.
For Singletary, guys like that, the Knox, because that's where our weakness is.
And Chris, that guy, the guy you just mentioned, is going to be a guy tonight. I think that's going to have a big game for Buffalo because he caught the touchdown in New England, but they really haven't featured Knox against us yet. That's going to be the wrinkle. You mark my words tonight, you're going to say, Jesus Christ, would somebody please put a man on him? Knox is going to be the new wrinkle tonight, Chris, because nobody's going to be able to cover him because of those linebackers are so bad, and they haven't exploited that yet. Game 3, they're going to exploit us tonight with Knox. You watch.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of those check down guys too. And in the center of the field stuff. So Mark, how do you keep him in the pocket? You first speed up the game on him. Mm-hmm. So you make him have to see things on the line of scrimmage that he can't diagnose pre-snap. So if you try to go
Chris,
zero
look, Chris, the issue with that is, do we even have the defensive talent to do that?
If you can afford to put your safeties more down in the box and in the center of the field, okay, I'm talking the safeties being Phillips and Duggar, McCourty's always going to have to be back. And by the way, you'll be able to tell what Belichick thinks of his secondary tonight the further back McCourty is. The deeper McCourty is, Belichick's not comfortable. That's what that tells
Chris,
you.
McCourty's been playing deep all year because he's not comfortable. He's always late getting over.
Both with the pass rush or the coverage.
He's always late getting over on plays, Chris, because he's playing so damn deep. Because to your point, he don't trust the corners. Well, Jesus Christ, you let one of them go. You got rid of one of them. I don't know, but I'm not even going to get into the Gilmore situation. But Jonathan Jones, I mean, obviously they would be better if Jones was healthy, right? And that was a big loss.
And now Mills.
When he went out. And Mills. So you're down to guys that you really didn't think would be getting much playing time. Now they're featured.
Which means you got to do what you're suggesting. You've got to be able to control the line of scrimmage better. Yeah. Now, there's guys on this. Barmore's on the list. Collins, Davis, Duggar,
half the defense, Chris.
Hightower. They're all on. Phillips. They're all on the injury list, Mark.
Half the defense.
Now, I would imagine if they could walk, they're getting out there. But to your point, how do you do it? Yeah, if you disguise some things on Allen, if you shake it up on him, he's not going to be so quickly, but you got to set the edge, which is something they can't do. They have not been able to do it. Not Van Noy, not Judon, not Wise. That's stiff. I mean, if you don't steal the edge, you're screwed. I mean, you're done tonight.
And Chris, they don't have the depth on this team for that the New England mantra has always been next man up, right? It's always been their mantra, next man up.
Now.
But they don't have the depth or the talent level to do that next man up, Chris. I mean, you notice we haven't even mentioned in this whole 30-minute spending on defense. We haven't mentioned Uche. We haven't talked about Winovich. And those are guys that you wasted third-round draft picks on. We haven't even mentioned them.
Well, when we get into our season recap, we'll be talking about the draft and those kinds of things. But Mark, the bottom line is we're talking about defending the run. It's defending Allen. Yeah, that's it. Okay. You have to defend Allen in this game. Period.
I agree.
You can't defend Allen, you're screwed. So we'll see what happens there. Now, on the other side of the ball. So here we go. Isaiah Wynn is out tonight.
So Chris, everybody's saying that's a big loss for us.
You and I, if you and I are going to be consistent with what we've been talking about. No. Right.
Here's what I will say about him, Chris. He's been better in the running game. He still can't protect you. In the passing game, they just go by him, Chris. He can't protect. He's not a left tackle when it comes to a passing game, right? But
because he's quick, he's a little quicker out in the run game, out on the edges when they run those little bubbles or they run wide.
But I do think, Chris, you got enough behind him to still be able to run the ball. Because the majority of the time, you're going to the right side of the field with the running plays anyways.
Yeah. Well, I could tell you this.
Continue. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I had
to
bring Win up.
No, that's why I brought him up. You know, he's out tonight. So now there's been some talk all week about what do you do to fix that problem? Do you bring Brown over and put Owinu on the other side?
You don't bring Brown over. He hasn't played there all year, Chris. I wouldn't ask him to do that.
That's good. I'm glad you're saying that because I was going to yell at you because the other jackasses that you referred to on our last show, you know, the Mazes of the world, these guys.
Listen, Chris, when years ago when I used to go to Saratoga on Saturdays, they used to have Javi Pack. He used to be under the paddock tent. He used to have a show on Saturdays. He'd pick all the races, right? And Javi Pack used to say, "Don't ever ask a horse to do something he's never done before." Well, Trent Brown obviously has played left tackle, but he hasn't played it there all year.
Not this year.
And I don't think he played last year. Last year, he was on the right side with the Raiders. So unless you're absolutely desperate, you can't move him, Chris. You can't.
No, you're not going to fix. You're not going to fix one. Try to fix one problem by creating two.
No, nope.
I mean, you know, now Owinu hasn't played there either, but that's a wash.
That's a wash.
Neither one of them have.
That's a wash. Yeah, it's a wash.
But I think
the guy I'm worried about, Chris, is he's on the injury report. Andrews better play.
Oh, he'll
if Andrews
play.
Don't play, we got a problem.
I would imagine he'd be playing.
He went out for one play last week. They fumbled the snap.
Yeah,
Christ.
So
Chris,
I mean,
what are they going to do on offense? We talked enough about defense, right? So what are they going to do on offense to win this game?
Well, they got to run. They have to run the ball. They have to shorten the game. They have to control the clock. And to finish that point, I'm good with Mason and Brown on that side. That's fine. Yeah. Stay there. Don't touch it. But I'm good with Owinu starting. Because Owinu's trained to do both. I want him instead of Haran. So I think they'll be okay in the running game. And to be honest with you, Mark, I think it's an upgrade in the passing game with Owinu sitting there. So what do they have to do? They have to run the ball, period. Stevenson, Harris, and a dose of each one of them. Now,
well, Chris, last time they played Buffalo in New England, Stevenson was just coming back from COVID. He wasn't 100%. Yeah, he played in the game, but he didn't get his minutes, right? Like he usually gets. And when he was on there, he didn't have the energy. He didn't have he definitely was not 100%, but they put him in the game. They ran the ball in that game, Chris. The issue in that game was that they fell behind by so many points. You kind of had to get away from that, what we typically do, and you had to open the game up more. But if they can stick to what they've done, and Chris, you got to get out of the gate. You got to get out of the gate tonight. You can't do what you've done the last 4 weeks, Chris. You're down 17-7. If you get down 10, 14 points early, Chris, it's going to be a blowout.
Well,
you'll
here's
get
the
blown
thing.
out. And I know you think we're going to get blown out. You've been saying it for 3 weeks. We're going to get blown out.
I didn't say we're going to get blown out. I'm just saying we're going to lose.
Joe, he's talking about me, Joe. Now he's backtracking, Joe.
Yeah, you know what? I did say they were going to get their ass kicked there.
You've been telling me for weeks. I don't want to go to Buffalo.
I'm owning it. Okay. There's no yelling. There's no booing here. There's no crying in
baseball. Hey, I want to say this, though. Isn't that Belichick's style? He's sort of like, eases off at the beginning and then tries to come back. That's what he seems like he does every time these big games come up, and it drives me insane.
Yeah, I think that's a product of the personnel, Joe. I don't think he wants to do that. I don't think that's ever the plan.
So, Chris, let me ask you a question. Chris, let me ask you a question. You said they're going to run the ball. So how are they going to run the ball?
Well, I think, I mean, because Buffalo understands what's coming.
Yep.
But they understood what was coming in Buffalo too. Now, look, you're right. They rushed for 220 yards in Buffalo last time, and they rushed for 150 yards and even had a better percentage in New England.
And no one's talking about that, Chris, because our defense played so bad. Nobody's talking about the fact we still ran the ball against
Mark,
them.
listen, these guys that are talking, can I just tell you, can I just say something? I mean, I watched the program the other night, and I listened to these two guys talk about who's going to move to the left tackle, okay? And, well, you can move Brown over. And I hear them say, well, it really doesn't matter, they said. It really doesn't make a difference. You can move Brown over. You can switch him back and forth. Like, do they have any idea the moronic? These guys are on TV. Like, it's completely different playing right side and left side. Everything's opposite. Everything's different. And in split-second decisions, if you're not used to playing there, that's a huge deal. It's like telling a right-handed hitter, hey, get up there and bat left this time.
Yeah.
Just, Go ahead and do it. Okay. So all right. How are they going to? These are the morons that we're talking about. But how are they going to run the ball? Mark, they're going to have to go heavy sets. I think they got to get to the ball to the edge. I think you get those linemen out there that are a little quicker for New England, speedier. Karras, Mason, get Brown, get Owinu out to the edge, with your linebackers, and set that up. Get out there to the edge and force Buffalo to pull some guys. Force Buffalo to get outside a little more. Force them to play more base defense where not everybody's compact inside.
Okay.
If you do that, that should open up an inside lanes and cutback lanes, which is what they liked to do when they played Buffalo the first time.
Well, Harris is really good at that, Chris. That cutback lane. He's good at that.
And they're all designed for that. They're designed cutbacks. They take advantage of the flow. They take advantage of Buffalo's over pursuing, and then they cut back.
Yep.
So to me, that's how they run.
And
Man,
Chris,
how do you
also tonight, Chris, it seems like they activated them off the practice squad. Because remember, I told you last week, they in the playoffs, there's no cap on how many times you can come off the practice squad. You waive it for the playoffs. Wilkerson, I believe, is going to be active tonight, Chris, because they took him. Why would you bring him off the practice squad? If you were going to play Harry, you wouldn't have taken him off the practice squad. So my guess is Harry's going to be inactive tonight. I'm going to tell you what I would do, Chris. I'm going to tell you what I would do. I would show some balls.
Yep.
Throw caution at the wind and say everybody thinks we stink. And we're going to run the ball. And I'd line up no huddle 4 wide.
Yeah, you keep saying that. Every week you keep saying that. Yeah, Mac Jones he's going to line up 4 wide. You're going to spread him out. And
I'm not saying he's going to. I said me, personally, that's what I would do. The bus and just to throw something different, a different wrinkle.
Who's running the pass routes? Just so I know. In your dreamland, who's running these routes and getting open? In these 4 wide sets.
Well,
just so I know.
You got Jerry Rice. You got Randy Moss. You got Terrell Owens.
I thought number one was going to run those routes.
He's the number one's bench today. Wilkinson's going to play.
No, but Chris, I do honestly think, in all honesty, though, Chris, if Wilkinson is playing, I do think you might see them throw the ball a little bit more because Jones has a comfort level, obviously, with Myers. But he showed, Chris, all through preseason, he has a comfort level with Wilkerson. Whatever it is, there's some sort of chemistry between those two guys. I wouldn't be surprised, Chris, if you see Wilkerson catch 4 or 5 balls tonight in different situations. I agree with you, Chris. You're going to run the ball. You're going to have to get on top of this team early.
You can't play action without running it.
You can't play action without running, which is what we do. We do the dump downs, we do the screens, we do everything we do in our passing game for the most part, Chris, is predicated on establishing some sort of run, right? Or something at the line of scrimmage that makes them think, well, there's a possibility they could run. If you don't establish that, that's when we really struggle.
Plus, you got to shorten the game, right? Keep their offense off the field. Now, Mark, let's talk about the two quarterbacks. All right, in the last 3 minutes here of this segment. Okay, it's cold. It's 9 degrees, below 0. It's freezing cold. Not a lot of nothing on the ground. No, not a lot of wind. Okay, but Josh Allen doesn't play well in the cold historically. What are these two quarterbacks?
Know what Mac Jones will do tonight.
Or Mac Jones.
He's never played in a game like this weather. He's never played in a playoff game. Period.
He's played in national championship games, so I'm not worried about the moment.
Games, Chris, but he's never played in this weather. It's always been in a dome or been in Florida.
So how is he going to handle that? How do you see him handling that? Because, I don't think the stage is too big for him. I think he's played on bigger stages than this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I don't think the stage is too big for him, Chris. Here's what the experts have been saying all week too, Chris. They think he's played so many games this year, plus preseason. They think he's on overload. They think he hit the wall. They think he's on overload, and he needs to take a step back, have an offseason, relearn things. And I don't know, Chris. I just want to put that out there because I think we'd be remiss if we didn't throw that out there. I know we're getting close because we got a lot to cover still before the end of the show.
Mark, that's outdated, bullshit.
That's outdated. I think it's outdated, but you know how many people have said that this week, Chris?
You know what? That's just a cop-out of people that don't understand this game and the preparation and the stamina and all the things they do. Mark, if he just hit a wall, and Mac Jones can't bring you back. He can't bring you back. You get down 2 scores, he can't bring you back. Every game they've gotten down, he's brought them to within 1 score by the end of the game. And that's not garbage time. We fought about that last night.
So, Chris, here's what he's going to do. he can't force it tonight. See that. So if he doesn't see something, Chris, he's kind of forced a couple of throws the last few weeks where they've been intercepted, or he's thrown behind guys and they've been picked. If it's not there, he needs to go back to doing what he was in the middle of the season, Chris. Throw the ball on the ground. Throw the ball where no one's going to catch it. If it's not there, get rid of it. Throw it away.
Or even take the sack.
Or take the sack. And he took more sacks, Chris, at the beginning of the year because he wasn't forcing it. Now, and I think it's because we're coming from behind so much, Chris, he's been forcing some throws. He needs to go back to that whole, listen, I'm not going to force it.
That pick six was at the beginning of the game last week. But yes, I do understand what you're saying.
No, but Chris, that was a bad read.
Yeah.
That was a bad read on his part. But he needs to, Chris, I think, take the sack or throw the ball on the ground, throw it away. But he's got to be really cautious, because if you win tonight, Mac Jones is going to have 0 interceptions. If Mac Jones throws a pick, you're probably in trouble tonight. He's going to have a clean game, no interceptions, Chris, I think. And we're going to have to get pressure on him, sacks, to win this game tonight.
And how many picks do you think and by the way, Joe, he's going to be impossible to live with if the Patriots win this game tonight. Impossible to live with for me.
Joe, you don't think I should be?
He'll be talking to me till 4 a.m. tonight, yelling at me. Oh,
but it's going to be good.
And Mark, you know what? I hope you are. But so how many picks does Josh Allen have to give you? How's he going quickly?
He's going to throw at least one.
And I won't talk quickly.
He's going to throw at least one. I think he may throw 2 tonight, but he's going to throw you at least one. If he doesn't throw you at least one, I don't think that's another thing that you can't win. I got like 3 keys to this game, Chris. Him throwing a pick's one of them.
Belichick's going to force it, though. That's a mistake they made last time.
He's got to force it.
In Foxborough, he's not just going to do it.
I know we're short. We got to get to a commercial and then wrap us up. But I think he's going to throw 1 pick.
Okay, that's it. The Mock's keys. So again, you had 3 keys. What are they again?
Sacks, at least 2 or more sacks, interception, and Mac Jones is going to throw 0 interceptions.
Okay. So, our Patriots pregame was presented by Special Sauce Podcast. What's your special sauce? Joe, am I saying that right? What's your special sauce?
What's your special sauce?
What's your special sauce? SpecialSaucePodcast.com. Listen, when we come back, we want to give our predictions, and we want to give the predictions for all the other games that are happening around the league right after this.
It's the Special Sauce Podcast. You liking the song? The sauce is good. This will start off as finance. With your host, Marcus Aurelius.
Hey everybody, it's Marcus Aurelius here with Special Sauce Podcast. I'm pleased to announce we have an excellent guest.
Mike Sorkin of Immortal Seats. Mike Sorkin is one of the hardest working guys I know. And I got to tell you that his story is a very interesting one.
So tune in at our website, specialsaucepodcast.com. Go slow, take chances, be prosperous.
Back in with Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England feel. And Mark, before we get to the 2-minute warning, real quick, special teams, I'm giving it to the Bills this time.
Oh, I'm giving it to the Bills. And that's going to be something to watch for, Chris. If we have more special team screw-ups, you can't do that on the road in a playoff game, not in this weather.
Not necessarily the kickers. The 2 kickers are great. It's everything else on special teams.
Everything else.
Bailey's been okay.
And
Bailey's been all right.
He hasn't been as good as he was last year, but he's been okay. But yeah, Chris, it's everything else with the special teams. You're right.
All right, well, let's get to our 2-minute warning, Joe. This is what happens when you miss.
I was waiting for
production
it.
meeting.
Production.
Mr. Production meeting. That's what happened.
You had to be perfect today. You had to be perfect to not have to hear that today.
They call me
perfect. So you were close, right?
You almost made it, Joe. All right. So listen, we'll get to our game last. But the Saturday games, our game, and Las Vegas is at Cincinnati, the 4:30 kickoff. Okay, Mark, what do you have?
You're actually asking me that question.
I'm asking you that question.
Cincinnati.
Give me a score, too, though.
Cincinnati's going to roll 37-17.
Joe, write this stuff down. Because
listen, all you need to know is it's going to be a blowout. Absolute annihilation game. Annihilation game. Joey Burrow is going to come out today and say, hey, I'm here. Nobody mentions me. I'm here.
Oakland's going to win this game. And I'm saying Oakland. You know why I'm saying Oakland? I'm
Here we
saying
go.
Oakland because that's who's showing up today.
Okay.
The Oakland Raiders
Yeah.
are showing the Raiders. The Oakland Raiders are showing up today, and they're going
Just
to beat
win,
that
baby.
team. Cincinnati's going to turn into Cincinnati. Period. That's what's
Okay.
going to happen to that
All
team
right.
today. And the
Okay.
fans are going to do it too. The
Okay.
fans are going to have a big pile of wet up in their stands too.
Listen,
Final.
if the Patriots win and Cincinnati wins big, you can't go to bed tonight because I'm going to torture you all night. All night.
I hope you're right. 24-21. I'm giving the Raiders the game. Okay, tomorrow you got the 1 p.m. kickoff for Philly travels to Tampa.
Tampa's
Mark.
going to absolutely kick them in the face.
Give me a score.
He wants them so bad, Chris. He's been talking about Philly is my nemesis. He just
still
latches
pissed about
on the
that.
shit from the Super Bowl. He's still pissed he lost to them.
Yeah, because he threw 5 touchdowns and still lost. He threw 5 touchdowns in a Super
500
Bowl.
yards and 500 yards.
500
by the way.
yards. I don't think it's ever happened. So
By the way,
give me a score.
31-13 Tampa.
Joe, by the way, you don't have to worry about a score, but who do you like, Vegas or Cincinnati? Quick.
Me? Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas.
Come on,
Okay,
baby.
Joe's got Vegas. How about the Philly, Tampa?
Tampa, come on.
Okay. To me, I feel the same way. And not just because of Brady, but because they're getting all those guys back on defense. Barrett,
No, they
Jack
are, Chris.
Barrett,
You're
White,
right.
all
But
those guys.
he just wants Philly so badly. He can taste them because
Yeah,
of
I
what
got
happened.
38-10.
Yeah, that's
is
going to be a
what I
blowout,
got.
I think.
All right, so the 4:30 game Eastern is going to be 49ers. Very interesting game. 49ers traveling to Dallas in that old school Niners-Dallas
the old
matchup. What do you
school
think?
Dallas. Mika Parsons is going to make Jimmy Garoppolo throw up in his shoes, and it's going to. This game's everyone's saying San Fran. This game isn't even going to be close. 37-21. Cowboys are going to smack them in the face in Texas Stadium. Whatever. It's not even Texas Stadium anymore. I don't know what the hell it is anymore. AT&T Stadium, whatever it is.
Yeah. I got 27-24 Niners. This is the other
Yeah.
upset I have of the week
okay,
because McCarthy's going to become McCarthy. He's going to do something stupid.
Yeah.
And Dallas is just going to do what Dallas does, and they're going to screw this game up.
Yeah, they could.
So 27-24. Pittsburgh going to Kansas City for the nightcap.
Here's my upset special.
Let's have it.
Ben Roethlisberger said we're going to get our ass kicked. If we can keep it within 20, just let's go have fun. We know we're going to get killed. Roethlisberger's playing possum. They're going to beat them 23-20 in an ugly, ugly game in Kansas City, and Pittsburgh pulls it out.
Yeah, I think Watt's going to have a nice game, but Kansas City's just got a way of winning. They just got a way of figuring it out and winning the game 27-17.
Listen, part of that
Kansas
is
City.
I just hate Kansas City so goddamn much.
I know.
But that's a whole nother issue. But I do think Pittsburgh, Chris, in all honesty, I would definitely take the 12.5 if I was betting the game.
Joe, I know
That's
you're
a lot
taking
of
the
points.
Niners against Dallas, right?
Oh, yeah. To me, that's the game of the week watching the game.
Of course it is because he's a Niners fan.
He's a
Pittsburgh,
Niners
Kansas
fan.
City, Joe.
KC, baby.
Okay, yeah, I got KC too. I got KC in that game. And Mark, it's weird. You're going to pick Pittsburgh at the upset, but you don't think Vegas has a shot. That makes sense.
Because I think Joe Burrow is listen, Jamar, you said they're going to score
Don't
21
talk too
points.
long on this.
Oh, be quiet. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Next week, I'll talk to you about Vegas.
And the NFC West showdown, Arizona travels to the Rams 8:15 Monday night for the first Monday night playoff game. What do you think? It's an interesting one.
That's an interesting game,
Well, then what do you think?
24-20 Rams.
24-20 Rams. Joe?
Yeah, I gotta say Rams.
I would pick Arizona, and I want to pick Arizona, but without Hopkins. They're just not a team that can win big games like this without Hopkins. Although Stafford's got the potential to do what he did in Detroit, to screw up like he did in Detroit.
Stafford is hurt, Chris. He's banged up. He's hurt.
He's banged up. So is he going to be the Detroit Stafford or is he going to be the Ram Stafford? We'll see what happens now. In our game, Mark, let's go. What's your prediction?
26-23, Nick Folk, as time expires, puts it through the uprights.
Mark, I hate.
I know you're going to pick against this. Just do it. I know you're going to pick against this. Just do it.
20-17. 20-17, Buffalo. And I hope I'm wrong, people out there. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope you all torture me later. So That's it.
I know you're gonna pick. You're gonna pick against us. What are you gonna do?
Well, that was our 2-minute warning. That was presented by the Pats Nation, the only Patriots post-game show worth watching.
What was the score you picked?
20-17. Pay attention. Pay attention.
I thought you said 27.
20-17. 20-17. The only Patriots post-game show worth watching, Mark. That's it, Mark. We're getting ready to go. Pick kickoff 8:15. So some people to thank today. Want to thank the people over at Special Sauce Podcast. What's your special sauce? SpecialSaucePodcast.com. Jag Media Productions. Good people over at Studio 42 Designs. For all your graphic design needs, Studio42Designs.com. And Corso Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Tune in to CORSO and CATONE Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll always have our heated hotline, weekly rewind, and, of course, CATONE's comments. I can't wait for that to come back. And listen, either a Patriots recap of the season or, hey, a preview of round 2. Let's hope that we will have that to preview for you. We wouldn't know the date, wouldn't know the time. Check out Twitter, and you'll see all of that. And should they have another game, you can join us 30 minutes following for the Pats Nation. Or prior to the game.
Chris, I don't know. Will there be an 8? Will they have 8:00 games next week? We don't know.
I don't know. But hey, listen, if they do, we're either going to be pregame or we're going to be postgame.
Yep.
We will be on if the Patriots are playing. So make sure you tune in and check out the listings for that. If not, everyone in the Pats Nation, great season. We'll wrap it up coming up next week. But we want to say thank you for the entire season. If the unlikely event that they lose the game, and Mark doesn't think that's going to happen. So make sure you pay attention to that. Thanking everybody out there. Special shows coming. We're going to talk about that next week. College Combine, talking free agency, the draft, OTAs, and mini camps. Never ends, Mark. Football never ends. So make sure that's it. So make sure you stay tuned. For Mark Catone, Joe Guarnieri, I'm Chris Corso. Tonight, next up, Patriots Bills kickoff. Enjoy the game, everyone.